Somebody just did something very odd. And I'm not talking about a small thing either. I'm talking about something to the order of billions of dollars. And they did it under the cover of darkness. Let's walk through this real fast. The financial markets on Thursday dropped by almost 1% for no reason. And then they clawed their way back. When we've started looking at this, a number of reports have started circulating that what happened was somebody out there bought $5.5 billion worth of short options on the futures exchange. Somebody did this. Now, I said under the cover of darkness, and this is important. Several weeks ago, we had a major hack. It didn't seem quite so major at the time. There's this computer software program. It's like a clearinghouse for the futures market. So people buying and selling, it kind of tracks who's buying, who's selling, and what kind of trades are happening. A Russian cyber warfare weapon or a ransomware attack was launched against this ION system, this clearinghouse of futures. And since then, now this is used both by the European markets as well as the United States markets. We're talking about not trillions of dollars, we're talking about quadrillions of dollars that get tracked. Who's buying what, what's happening. Both the United States as well as Europe put out these COT reports regularly. It's called a Commitment of Trader report. Basically, it groups investors into categories and says who's like betting that the market's going to go up and who's betting that the market's going to go down. And how much money do they have invested into it going up and down? And it's not just the stock market, it's metals, copper, oil, gold, silver, anything that's wheat, corn, industrial things going up, down. I believe plastics are on there. Just like we're talking quadrillions. 2 quadrillion is the estimate. $2,000 trillion. Yikes. So the last 2 weeks, the CFTC, Commodity Futures Trading Commission in the United States, hasn't sent out a report because they don't know how people are positioned. Well, that's kind of inconvenient. You just hate to have someone walk into the futures market and make a crazy $5.5 billion bet out of the blue and freak everybody out. And that's exactly what just happened. Somebody walked in and said, we're going to place a $5.5 billion bet that the market's going to go down in the next 5 hours. And everyone goes, wait a minute, what do you know that we don't know? And everyone starts selling. They start selling. This $5.2 billion bet, the value of it went up to $25 billion in a matter of 2 hours. Somebody just made $20 billion. Just like that. Now the report, they're tracking it still and showing that basically whoever did this didn't unload those options at that time. So they didn't book a $20 billion gain. But what they did was they made some money. They lost a little bit of money, sorry. They lost about $5 million, not billion, $5 million they lost. But they pushed the market way down, almost 1% down, and then it recovered. And then they kind of pushed it back up. Was this a shot across our bows? Was this a foreign entity, government, stepping in and saying, look, we can mess up your markets. we can cause a crash. If they were going to do that and they want to keep some kind of distance from it, you'd kind of want to, I don't know, make sure the reporting systems aren't working. And that's exactly where we are. Both the European ICE, ICE, which is basically their CFTC, they produce their Commitment of Traders report over in Europe. They haven't sent out any reports either in the last couple weeks. The question is why would someone be doing this? If the hack is linked to this massive movement, or if the hack is something else and somebody else is making use of this, or, and go with me on this, what if the hack is to cover a foreign entity like Russia or China or some other country that has ill will towards the United States? For just a few $1 billion, you can throw a monkey wrench into the silver market and break it. That's what the folks over at Wall Street Silver have been talking about for quite a bit. Talking about retail, it takes so little money that retail investors, if they gang up together, can break the silver market. And that's what Wall Street Silver has been trying to do. But if you have a foreign entity or an institution that steps in and says, yeah, we're going to do that, and they just buy up a whole bunch of silver, knowing full well that there isn't enough silver out there in the world for the banks that promised to sell it to them, for them to actually deliver on this promise. And what happens if they default on that? Well, we saw that kind of blow up in nickel just the other year. Somebody did that, basically. They just started buying up all the nickel contracts, and then it was like, so you're going to deliver all that nickel? And everyone kind of realized there's not enough nickel for that to happen. And basically the futures trading companies just stepped in and said, actually, we're just going to invalidate all those trades. And that definitely has already sent a shockwave through the futures markets, that you think you're going to get delivery on whatever it is, oil or plastics or corn or wheat. But really, if we don't like it, we're just going to cancel all the trades. And are we moving into a situation where a foreign entity could weaponize our financial system against us? Well, you could spend hundreds of billions of dollars building warships and all that kind of stuff like that, or you could spend $5 billion and just start hammering the U.S. markets one way or the other. What if this person or this bank or institution had a lot of other investments out there that were not these options, and they used options to hammer the market into the right direction? They could then make tons of money off all their other investments, and that would be less easy to see. Friends, do I need to tell you that the house is rigged against all of us? Stocks, bond markets, I mean, it's not for you and me. They want you to believe it's for you and me, but really, it's for Wall Street, the banks, and powerful entities to take your money. Take your and my money. They rig it in such a way that they're just there to just take your money from you. And they do it in such a way, just like a casino, they take a little bit off the top, a little bit off the top, always. And they're doing it constantly so that you don't even see it kind of going. You still believe that you're winning. If the corporations in the United States make profit, I promise you, if you own the stock, you don't make that much profit. You make a percentage of that, and the rest gets skimmed off to the banks, the trading companies, all this is going on all the time. And you probably already know this already. But something weird is going on in the financial markets, and I mean weirder than usual. What is going on? We don't know what's going on because the trading tracking systems are down. And then two, on top of that, somebody just took the sledgehammer out and gave the S&P 500 a whack over the head. And nobody's doing anything about it. We're just all looking at it and going, Wow, that was weird. Friends, the manipulations are becoming more and more obvious, both in the supply chains, both in government, both in everywhere you go. They're doing it right in front of your face and telling you, no, what you think you're seeing isn't actually happening. Oh, by the way, all those chemicals that got leaked in Ohio, those are perfectly safe. That's fine. No, you don't. I know. Last week we said that they're extremely toxic. And I know we're saying that we can't send federal workers in there because they'd have to wear hazmat suits, but it's actually quite safe for you. Friends, are you believing what you're hearing? Because you shouldn't. They are lying out of their teeth constantly. And all this system out there is 100% rigged against you. The best way to do is to opt out as best you can, become more self-sufficient as you can. Build up your networks of relationships. We saw how important that is. And whatever you do, don't play the game. Walk out of the casino. And the only way today, really, that you can walk out of the casino, because you're sitting in dollars that they're manipulating up and down. You're sitting in stocks and bonds that they're manipulating up and down. Real estate, silver, gold, platinum, all these things. If you want to move your retirement funds out of stocks and bonds, I keep saying, please do that, because it is a casino and it's rigged against you. Genesis Gold, you can find them down in the description down below, can talk to you about how to move your retirement funds into something safe, like a rock, a valuable rock that sits in the vault that's yours. I know. Are you going to get rich off doing that? No, you're not. But you're going to stop getting poorer every day. That's the real man. I'm all about opting out of the system, getting out of the system before it fleeces me completely. All right, folks, if you found this video useful or helpful, you might want to check out this video right over here. If you're not already subscribed, tap that button right there. Make sure you're linked up so that you keep getting updates on these videos. If you hit the bell icon, you'll get notifications as well. All right, folks, thanks so much for watching. This is Steve Poplar, out.